Spring is here and Arlington celebrates with poetry. Town meeting opens and there's a lot on the agenda. And a prominent Boston infectious disease doctor stirs up controversy with a startling proposal. It's all coming up on ACMi News next.
From McLennan Park to Spy Pond, from Poets Corner to the Mystic River, we have Arlington covered. We're your neighbors, a friend you can turn to. This is ACMi News.
Hello Arlington, welcome to ACMi News. I'm In-young Kim.
And I'm Anim Osmani. We are co-anchoring today with this socially distanced setup as there are a lot of stories and information to get through today, starting with a quick COVID update.
As of Monday, the Commonwealth eliminated age limits for getting vaccines. All Arlington residents can pre-register from the town's website. Furthermore, President Biden urged companies to offer paid time off for workers to get vaccines. His campaign promise has been exceeded as almost half the nation has now been vaccinated.
Another update about the vaccine is that both Moderna and Pfizer have shown no serious risk for pregnant women, according to a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine. None of the women involved in the study received the Johnson & Johnson single-shot vaccine because it was not available at the time. The distribution of that vaccine is currently on hold, but be sure to check out the CDC's updated guidance, scheduled for release on Friday, April 23rd. Now, moving on to our local news. Town meeting opens its 2021 session on Monday, April 26 at 8 p.m. and will follow its usual Monday-Wednesday schedule until its business has been concluded. How long that will take is hard to say at this point, given that there are currently 91 warrant articles to get through. ACMi will, as always, provide live coverage of the virtual proceedings on our government channel and will rebroadcast each week's sessions multiple times throughout the week. Good luck to town meeting members in getting through a substantial agenda.
The Darlin Elementary School was recently vandalized. According to the Arlington Police Department, on April 16th, a school resource officer noticed that an exterior window near the playground had been damaged. It appears that the damage was caused by a total of 8 rocks having been thrown. The damage amounted to $1,200, according to the police log. There are no security cameras in the area, so there's no clear suspect. The incident is under investigation.
As of Monday, April 19th, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Massachusetts is sponsoring free rides to and from vaccination sites located within the Blue Bike system. Arlington is one of the 10 communities using Blue Bikes, and residents can take advantage of this offer by opening the Blue Bikes app on their mobile device and using the vaccination codes BlueVax1 and BlueVax2. The codes provide residents who require 2 vaccine doses with free Blue Bikes trips for both appointments. Each code will unlock 1 free adventure pass and includes free unlimited 2-hour rides for a 24-hour period, giving riders the flexibility to travel to and from a vaccination site. While we're on COVID news, a prominent Boston doctor's recent blog post has sparked a heated conversation in the Commonwealth regarding the use of face masks outdoors. Should the state of Massachusetts terminate its mask mandate?
This comes after New Hampshire ended its mask mandate a couple weeks ago, the only state in New England to do so. ACMi News correspondent Isabel Litters spoke with Arlingtonians and with an infectious disease doctor to get their reactions.
Dr. Paul Sachs, the clinical director of the Division of Infectious Diseases at Brigham and Women's Hospital, recently argued in favor of lifting the outdoor mask mandate in the Commonwealth, contradicting the governor's orders. Experts and community members have differing opinions about the mandate.
In his blog post, Dr. Sachs said, quote, "Transmissions do not take place between solitary individuals going for a walk, transiently passing each other on the street, a hiking trail, or a jogging track. That biker who whizzes by without a mask poses no danger to us, at least from a respiratory virus perspective." Dr. Sachs offered up the idea that the outdoor mask mandate may be harmful because it discourages outside activities and can push people indoors where they feel safe from public shaming. They are less protected, however, from the virus indoors, where Sachs believes masks are still important. Dr. Bill Rodriguez, an infectious disease doctor who has worked with Dr. Sachs extensively over the years, shared his perspective on the proposal.
Outdoor transmission is not the driver of this epidemic. So the fact that masks became widespread indoors and outdoors last year, like, it wasn't a bad thing when we didn't know much, there was uncertainty, and we needed clarity and simple messaging. Once we learned this by the middle of 2020, it started to make less and less sense to have people focusing on the risk of being outside. Casual contact of even less than 6 feet for a short period of time outdoors is not high risk. And that's what we know from scientific studies that are pretty rigorous. Prolonged contact within 6 feet outdoors without masks starts getting much riskier.
Here is what Arlington had to say about the order to continue wearing masks outside.
I don't think it's necessary in general to wear a mask outside. I do primarily because I always forget to put it on before I go in someplace. If I have it on, I don't have to think about it.
I think indoor should definitely be mandated. Outdoor, if we're far apart and it's windy, I don't think it's critical at this point in time.
I think exercising, at this point, I take it off when I'm walking until I come up to someone, and then I'll put it back on. I bicycle without it unless I'm on the bike path, which is very crowded. And I think those are sensible ways of using masks.
The governor's office has not changed the policy mandating outdoor mask wearing at this time, but hope is on the horizon for a return to normalcy. For ACMi News, I'm Isabel Litters.
Thank you, Isabel, for that report. Even as Americans are being vaccinated at a record pace, it seems like we still need to keep those masks on, especially indoors.
Here in Arlington, vaccinations have not yet reached everyone in town who wants one, even among those aged 75 and over, who have been eligible since early February. News Director James Milan was curious about why this is and asked Town Manager Adam Chapdelaine about it.
I did have the opportunity to talk with Christine Bongiorno, Director of Health and Human Services, about this concern. And a quick look at the data, which comes from last week, and I think it'll actually be updated today and put on the state website, is that we, in that 75 plus population, we are trailing on a percentage basis Lexington, Belmont, and Winchester and Cambridge, but have better percentages than Medford and Somerville. So in terms of our contiguous communities, we're just below the middle of the pack in that regard. And I think there's a couple things at play. One, we think that the communities that are doing better than us, it's likely the seniors living in those communities have a more robust social and or family network that have been able to provide them travel or even website assistance in gaining access to appointments. Or at least that's, we haven't analyzed that, but that's our general sense. Another portion of that, which can be somewhat explained in terms of Lexington and Belmont, is, as I think we can recall from a couple months ago, we were getting 100 shots per community in our partnership with Lexington and Belmont. Obviously, we have 10,000 more residents than Lexington, and I don't want to get this wrong, but maybe 20-some thousand more residents than Belmont. So we're bigger communities, but we were sharing those 100 shots, not proportionally, but equally across all three communities. So we think that might have something to do with the percentages being a little off in terms of how many folks in that 75 plus criteria or category have been vaccinated. Another issue is, and this would impact all the communities similarly, we were in the midst of our homebound vaccination program when the J&J shot got paused last week. So that was probably another 50 to 75 seniors we were going to be able to get to that have been put on pause, but we're hoping to pick back up with them with Moderna shots in the next week or so. So all that said, I'm happy that this viewer called attention to it so that we could focus more closely on it. HHS is going to continue to focus on it. We're not going to be direct vaccinators, but we're going to keep doing whatever we can to try to provide access as best possible to this population and other populations as well.
In their conversation, Adam Chapdelaine also talked about vaccinating our younger populations and described a new round of financial assistance for tenants in Arlington. For their full conversation, visit the ACMi News YouTube page. For now, we'll take a quick break.
When we come back, we'll take a look at a couple of ways Arlington is getting in the spring spirit poetically. Stay tuned.
Want to stay up to date with all things going around the community and beyond? Catch all the Arlington action on ACMi News for all the hyperlocal content you need. ACMi News. Watch on weekdays on Arlington's public channels, RCN 629, Verizon 31, and Comcast Channel 8. You can also check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv and follow us on social media. ACMi News, your local news station.
Hey, you! Yeah, you. Are you bored and looking for a creative outlet? Are you a teen filmmaker? Are you a teen who is not a filmmaker? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you should send in your 10-minute or less short film to the 2021 A-Town Teen Film Festival. Any teen aged 12 to 19 can participate. You don't need much, just a phone and a couple of friends. Work with what you've got. All skill levels are welcome. And it gets better. There will be a number of cash prizes given out in different categories up to $300. Not to mention, your film will be aired on the Arlington Community Media Inc. channels for weeks afterwards. Just have your film submitted by April 30th for the big virtual screening in May. For more information, check out acmi.tv/ATown. What have you got to lose?
Welcome back to ACMi News. I'm Young Kim, joined by Anim Osmani. As you might have just seen during the break, A-Town Teen Film Festival submissions are due soon. The deadline is on April 30th.
Submissions should be sent to Kevin Wetmore via email at kevin@acmi.tv. April is National Poetry History Month, which also includes Independent Bookstore Day. It's a day to commemorate independent booksellers that play a significant role in communities across the nation. One Arlington store is embodying the spirit of both poetry and small business resilience in a particularly festive day of the year for them. The Maxima Gift Center is celebrating Poetry History Month by inviting residents to submit poems via their website. Submitted poems are posted on their storefront windows for anyone who passes by to read.
The beginning of April, we put out a call to basically all our local poets, which means anyone in the area who has written any kind of poetry or wants to write poetry of and people of all ages. We're happy and are still happy to accept submissions from anyone who wants to be involved.
Poems have also been posted on Maxima's social media pages through April 15th. They imposed a social media cutoff date in order to focus on Independent Bookstore Day. And when I say they, I mean the one-person crew that is managing the poetry initiative.
Well, primarily because of Independent Bookstore Day, which is coming up, and we've just been really, really busy with that, and social media takes time, and it's really just me doing it, so.
Leanne and the Gift Center spent the month of April stirring up something special in a social media campaign, #MaximaBD2021, in addition to their poetry campaign.
We have an activity that we've been posting online leading up to Bookstore Day, which is our Bookstore Day treasure hunt. And the way that works is it's been literary themed riddles. We've been posting them every Tuesday and Saturday. And once you have solved all the riddles, it will lead you to the treasure on Independent Bookstore Day here.
The last riddle was posted on Tuesday, April 20th. If you figured it out along with the rest, don't share your answers just yet. Bring your answers to Maxima on Independent Bookstore Day, which is Saturday, April 24th. The first 3 teams with correct answers will receive a grand prize. As for the rest of Arlington, there are exclusive sales and deals residents can benefit from. Maxima's poetry collection will be displayed throughout the month of April, and Independent Bookstore Day is a one-day-only sales event for Maxima. Maxima Gift Center says you can also look forward to something special on Mother's Day in case you missed this big event.
The Arlington Commission for Arts and Culture also used the month of April to kickstart a public art haiku project, celebrating both poetry and the coming up spring. Haiku in the Heights is what they are calling it. the ACAC is inviting the entire community to take up a pen and create a 3-line poem that symbolizes the neighborhood in whatever way is meaningful to them. 30 poems will be chosen by the end of spring and will then be hand-painted onto storefront windows.
What we're doing is issuing a call to the community to write haiku inspired by Arlington Heights. Could be nature, could be your neighbors, could be some of the small shops and bakeries that are in the business district, but a tiny little poem that captures something of the essence of this distinctive neighborhood. I think the COVID-19 pandemic has been hard on everyone, but it's been especially hard on small, independently owned businesses. And so we want to show them some love by putting poetry in their windows that's inspired by the neighborhood that they are an integral part of.
Jessie Brown, local poet and teacher of literature, is playing a significant role in the project by offering a series of workshops, giving free lessons to anyone interested in creating original haiku.
We want everybody to come to these workshops. In some ways, kids are some of the best writers we have because their eyes and ears are so open. So parents can sign up with kids. Friends can sign up with each other. You could come to the one on the great outdoors, on family, friends, or neighborhood, and write together as well as separately. It's open to everyone.
If you're looking for some inspiration, perhaps a quick read aloud will help.
Grace Solomonoff in Arlington wrote this one. Dawn, the stars go back inside the dew. Isn't that cool? It's so short. The stars go back inside the dew.
People might also think of haiku as only dealing with something happy, but haiku can have a wider range of feeling than that. And so I'm going to read one that Jessie wrote, inspired by Wanamaker's hardware store. Sail, nuts, bolts, rakes, extension cords. What tool mends loneliness?
Haikus can be sent to neighborhoodhaikus@gmail.com. The last date to submit a haiku is on May 31st. You can register for workshops at artsarlington.org. The first of the 4 workshops is on Saturday, April 24th from 4 to 5:30, and the next will be held on Thursday, May 13th from 7 to 8.
This week was vacation week for Arlington Public Schools, so there will be no Punterscope. We hope that our Studio B crew is having a wonderful and restful vacation. We'll see you back in action next week.
This week also included Earth Day, and President Biden took the opportunity to deliver a strong message about reducing carbon emissions in a 2-day virtual climate summit for leaders from around the world. President Biden spent day 1 of the summit underscoring the need for the world's major economies to raise their climate ambitions.
In his opening statement, President Biden pledged that the United States will cut greenhouse gas emissions in half by 2030 and reach net zero by 2050. Citing that the United States represents less than 50% of the world's emissions, he called for global cooperation and a collective effort from all areas of the planet.
If the U.S. can indeed follow through on these pledges, it appears that our lives will be transformed once again after this pandemic. So, Anim, how is our new newscast format?
You know, I'm liking this 2-anchor format that we have going on now. It looks like we're going to go back to the normal presentation of news that we usually do here at ACMi.
I'm looking forward to seeing the next week's newscast.
Me too. And anyway, that is all that we have for today. Thank you for watching this week's newscast.
For the cast and crew of ACMi News, I'm In-young Kim.
And I'm Anim Osmani.
And we'll see you next week.
You can always check out our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ACMi News. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll find us at youtube.com/ACMi News. If you have any news tips for us or wish to become a citizen journalist, we'd love to hear from you.
Email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by ACMI Studio A at 85 Park Avenue.